Idling is a very low RPM, very low fuel burn, but it's still a significant factor. So if we can remove that by either not idling the truck and having other batteries on the truck or other things that can provide this power, then that's a good thing. Saves wear and tear on the engine, eliminates that noise and exhaust pollution, and can save money.
The big thing about the report that got to me was it's not just one solution. Maybe you put some solar on the trailer that helps feed and take that energy efficiency up for the truck. And you combine that with a diesel APU or an eAPU, so it charges the battery. And you combine that with driver training, maybe driver incentives. You're going to get some bonuses if we monitor your driving and you keep the emissions down.
So a lot of solutions, and actually that's one of the challenges that we address in this report, is that there are so many solutions. It's kind of confusing for fleets to figure out which is best for them.
I would start with how much of an impact it'll have on your bottom line. You just take one truck, $4,000 to $6,000 a year. Not a big deal. When you multiply by the number of trucks in your fleet, then it starts to be very impactful. Same with the 15 metric tons of carbon that you're burning every year per truck. The technologies have emerged. They always grow, whether it's a diesel APU that's getting more efficient, more integrated, offered by the OEM, so you don't have to do an add-on cost. And then you have the eAPUs, where the battery technology is really improving. We're going from different chemistries of batteries, more power on the batteries. The batteries now have auto shutdown, so they're not just charged when you're running, they'll automatically shut down at night or start up at night. So they can last 8 to 10 hours on an eAPU. And then looking at these smaller investments, maybe the engine parameter settings, maybe looking at integrating with some of the OEMs where they have start-stop systems, automatic shutdown systems. What does that do for my fleet? How could we utilize that? And then there are exhaust emission incentives. Obviously you have goals, whether they're ESG goals, environmental goals, you want to meet EPA standards, your customers have goals on their carbon emissions. You don't have to invest in an electric truck. You don't have to do a CNG truck. You could keep your diesel truck, but if you make some adjustments in how the drivers drive, some of these investments in technology, you can actually reduce your carbon quite a bit.
So one of the things we do is complete a fleet fuel study every couple of years. And so we look at different technologies as to what the fleets are adopting or not adopting. So these 10 or 12 idle reduction solutions are in that survey, in that data set. So we did see an increase in diesel APUs and a lot of trouble with maintenance and repair and other things. And so that decreased as a solution for these fleets to operate. And electric APUs have actually been on the rise the last few years. For the future of idle reduction, this is really independent of the powertrain. So we talk about battery trucks, hydrogen trucks, natural gas trucks. I think the future isn't really a bunch of new technologies on idle reduction, but how we incorporate these solutions into the trucks that might be dramatically changing with the different powertrains.